The sections I had previously proposed in this bill are in Section 3, lines 257 through 261, which touches on the immediate disclosure of wager odds error. So the wording in the bill currently is not my exact intent when I proposed the bill. So I'll talk through that intent. And again, if we need to have further conversations about that or questions, I'm more than willing to talk about it. This concept aims to have sports books communicate immediately with consumers if there was an error on the line of a bet and force them to notify consumer before the sporting event starts that they are canceling the bet. Errors and typos happen. Totally understand. An example in this scenario would be the sports book meant to put the odds of Tiger Woods to win the Masters at 10-1, but accidentally put it on the market at 100-1. So way higher odds, way bigger payout for the consumer. Those mistakes happen, but they should not be able to wait until the event is over when they know who won to decide if they want to notify the consumer of the error. If Tiger Woods lost, maybe the sportsbook would not say anything and just keep the money. But if Tiger won, they cancel the bet to not have to pay out that error. If told before the event, the bettor can choose to bet Tiger at the current correct odds or bet someone else. That is a great consumer protection piece that sportsbooks should be able to do with their technology. Secondly, Section 3, lines 273 through 275, the maximum wager notification. So again, not exact the intent of what I had proposed. This concept aims to communicate clearly consumers why and how they're being limited. So some gamblers who have a success rate higher than the average and maybe actually make money gambling sometimes get limited in certain sports or certain kind of wagers. So limited means they can't bet as much as they normally would or have any free reign to bet the limits that are allowed. So players get limited when they win a lot of certain sports. Sportsbooks won't let you bet more than maybe $20 on a game. What I'm asking for here is to force these betting providers to communicate clearly why the consumer is getting limited and exactly how much they are being limited to. In a perfect world, limiting would be outlawed and is clearly prejudicial and selective. It would be like going to a blackjack table when the limit is $100, but you sit down and you can only bet $10 because you won for the first hour that you're playing. It is not fair, and consumer is not protected if they did something wrong, and if they did nothing wrong on the outside of just picking some games more right than the average bettor. Thank you for thinking about these changes to the gambling sports rules, and your consideration of this bill is greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Representative Scott, for your submissions. I know there are just two of a number of issues that you would raise for the committee's consideration. A number of them you've had a sense to talk to me a little bit more about and educate me as we move forward. I think that relationship is going to continue to evolve over the next few years as this committee takes on a number of gaming-related issues. So I appreciate for the time and patience and consideration that you've put into this issue. Representative Rutigliano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Representative. I found some of your other proposals super interesting. I was wondering if you could just talk about publicly about how you think the algorithm, the online betting platforms are using algorithms to either target or entice people to gamble more if they lose more.
I use the online platforms. If I go to the casinos, I would bet there. So I do get targeted with certain deals and wagers based on my betting history, and that does lead sometimes to hitting on the weaknesses of people. Not everyone treats it as entertainment like I do. Some people aren't able to do that, and we need to make sure we're protecting those folks. So sometimes those algorithms will kick in if you are betting golf. As I used the example before, you all of a sudden start getting some deals on betting golf.
I wanted to ask you about some of the marketing techniques. I know it's not this specific bill that you're testifying on, but it is part of our greater conversation on gambling. Some of the deals that are offered, when you see advertising, bet $5, get $150, is it plainly aware of what you actually have to do to get that $150 or whatever the offer might be?
No, I mean, that is definitely something that I think needs to be a little bit clearer. Obviously, it's a marketing technique, and that's literally what I do for my living. In my regular job is marketing, and I understand that. But yeah, a lot of times you have a very limited amount of time to use that $150. You get free bets. You have a very limited amount of time on that. And I don't know if that's 100% clear. And if somebody's, not used to betting a lot of money, to bet $150 over a course of maybe 3 days or 7 days, when they're betting $5 or $10, they might not realize that they don't have that in the amount of time, and then you lose that $150, or at least a portion of that $150 maybe you got in that scenario that you suggested. So no, I think it needs to be more clear up front.
I'll just ask one more question because I just want your opinion, because reading the bills that you proposed, even I'm speaking for myself, but I know other members of the committee were sort of impressed with, you seem to have a knowledge of this or be in this world a little bit. Another bill that we're going to consider today, and actually we voted out of committee, but it's probably going to go through negotiations, is the advertising on college campuses, right? So I appreciate the fact that UConn needs, or whoever needs to sell ads in an arena, not unlike, in my opinion, cigarettes. I do think it should be a point where we get to sort of limit the ads that are marketed to college kids in a college setting. Do you have an opinion on that one?
You know, I go back, I might be dating myself a little bit, but I went to Penn State University, and there used to be all the time, all around campus and events, to get a credit card, right? That was like the big thing. They'd have some cool gift that they would get you to get a credit card. And basically what they're trying to do is get you to get that credit card and go spend money, and maybe money that you don't have. Well, that was really outlawed on campus. Like, that's really not something that can happen anymore. I don't see much difference between that for these college kids in the gambling world. I think they throw these enticements out there, just like a cool gift that was when you set up a credit card. So I do think I'm in agreement with that. I think at the college level and the college campuses, especially, state schools, I think we need to have a closer look of what kind of advertising, but also what that messaging is. So I think it's something that we should be definitely looking at.
In Connecticut, we did create the right for people to opt out of targeted advertising. Would you support then some way of making consumers aware of their ability to opt out of the targeted advertising from the gambling site?
It's a great way of doing it. Listen, not everybody has that ability to be able to look in the mirror and realize they need to opt out. I proposed another bill this year about consumer opt-outs in sports wagering. So currently right now you could take pauses, you could opt out of your gambling account. I would love to be able to see even more opt-outs specifically within it. Like, hey, I've been betting golf and I've been getting killed and I need to stop betting golf. If I can just click a box and say no golf for me, I would love to be able to do that. That they're doing, maybe they're doing too many parlays, which are very high odds and hard to hit. They're doing too many of those and they want to walk away. So all these opt-outs are consumer protections that we should be looking at to protect those most vulnerable. And I am 100% aligned with you, Senator Maroney, on making sure we're doing exactly that.
Look forward to continuing to work with you. I wrote in some notes that I need to call you on some issues. So thank you very much.
We're right across. Yeah, we're close. We could talk.